Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome into your daily read. We're going to talk about Friday, the 3rd of February, 2023. I do want to thank you so much for joining me for this reading, but as always, do keep in mind this is general for the day for all 12 signs, so just take what resonates and leave the rest behind. I did pre-pull an overall oracle for the day from the, the Flowers of the Night Oracle. And we also do have Passion at the bottom of the deck. But let's see what we got here. Patience. Patience, my friend. I feel like it's a very delicate day. I don't know why I feel the need to say that. There's a sense of things feeling a little bit rocky or just not perfect, right? And so Spirit's saying, have patience, take a deep breath. Don't get overwhelmed when something doesn't go as planned or perfectly for oneself. Look at that. I just split the deck to challenge, all right? So it feels like a continuation of what you were dealing with, or just something similar to Thursday, that's speaking upon a future tower moment. But let's continue forward and pull from the Light Seers. Bear with me. Didn't prepare for this perfectly. I feel like that was key wording for you. I actually have misplaced that deck. It baffles me as to where it went. But let's pull from the Gilded deck. We'll just kind of wing it. All right, to continue for Friday. Flying out the Wheel of Fortune and the Knight of Pentacles. A day of slow movement. I did see the Eight of Wands, so it might feel like things are just kind of picking up at certain points and then slowing back down. But I do feel like it's a day where the wheel is turning in your favor. There's a sense of you feeling quite bold and serious and a bit stronger than I want to say in comparison to Thursday, but a bit of healing taking place. You feeling sort of confident, but judgmental, I want to say. And I do feel like you are a bit guarded, right, due to past occurrences, or one in particular, due to your past in general. I do feel like there is a vibe about how you just kind of want to strut about and do your thing. There's a sense of you wanting more freedom than you have at this time. But I do feel like it's a day where you're, again, with this Judgment card, feeling a bit judgmental, but feeling very to oneself is what they're saying, and just getting your voice out there. It may feel easier to do something than it did when it comes to Thursday. It may feel as if you are just effortlessly shining in moments of overly being serious and, again, judging and just accomplishing through it all. I feel as if you are one very knowledgeable individual being drawn to this reading, and this Friday reminds you of just that. I also sense that it's a day where even if your third eye is quite open, it's opening a bit more in some way, shape, or form to what's at hand, or what you once dealt with, or what lies ahead. It could be more than one of what I just mentioned, but naturally saying that the past, the future, and your present day situation in life kind of comes into play in one way, shape, or form. But the Empress and the Hierophant, very interesting. So it's a day where you can't help but think about a future situation. I feel like Spirit could even push for this to come to mind, or just into the forefront of your focus, whether it's through, say, a YouTube video, a social media content otherwise. It could be a conversation that pops up or comes to be. It could be just a thought they give you, or something you're pushed to look at. But I feel like they're saying we need to keep you focused, or just thinking about, keep the wheels churning in regards to what is meant for you more so moving forward. Doesn't mean don't enjoy or make the best out of where you're at or what you're wrapped up with, but it feels like there's something better for you. And again, it feels very tied into Thursday, but in a more positive way. Very interesting. The Five of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands. Are you lacking the money you need to make an investment moving forward? It feels like that's going to change, but it's almost, if it's not today, it may be moving forward that you see this money increase. But it also just feels like all the meanwhile, you know, or you have a better sense at this point, or you're being reminded where you're not meant to fit in. All right. But I just feel like all the meanwhile, thoughts of the past will spark a realization or a remembrance, or both, that keeps you in line with what you're more meant for, or just reminds you why you began something all the meanwhile, or just in the first place. There's a sense that for some being drawn to this reading, you need to remember why you began something to sort of re-spark that passion for something, to kind of remember why that patience is necessary, why you just don't lose your cool or give up, or just why you try and try again until something comes to be. They're saying until you try and try again until you just check that off your to-do list. Bear with me. It feels like something or multiple some things are just making you nervous. The Four of Cups and the Two of Wands. It's this feeling of you thinking about what you lack, but all the meanwhile that in that process being reminded of what's not meant for you. Period. It just feels like your focus is taking a focus. Interesting repetitive wording, but I feel like with all these cards I'm not taking, it's like it's up to you. Do you focus on the negatives? Do you focus on what's not meant for you? When spirit tries to push you to focus on something you feel like you shouldn't, don't, right? Or just step into your control, bear with me, to focus on something more positive, right? Or just take the lesson or just the realization or remembrance moment and then move on, shift on forward to focus on something more productive or positive for oneself. You're in the driver's seat, right? Even if it feels like spirit is for the most part a lot of the time, right? But I do feel like through it all, you're being pushed to just charge forth with a level of confidence and passion. It may feel like at times you're wanting to erupt, or it may feel like you have recently, but I do feel like you're being viewed in a very golden light, in a golden manner, even if you don't feel that way 24/7. But I just feel like people are seeing you as somebody who is going places. And I do feel like you'll remember that at a certain point, but it doesn't change the imperfections at hand. But Spirit's saying this is another day, which we've mentioned recently, where you're reminded if things were perfect, would you so easily or just feel motivated to move forward at the right time for oneself? So it's the universe, spirit reminding you where things don't feel perfect, it pushes you to move forward, right? To better, to upgrade, to just remember where your worth lies all the meanwhile. Bear with me as I'm being messed with. The Magician flying onto the ground. I do feel like it's a day where you're manifesting quite easily, and you'll see evidence of just that. And I feel like people are seeing things falling into place for you and growing for you, prospering for you. But I feel like you are just observing people at certain points throughout the day and thinking, why? Why? I almost feel like some of what's drawn to the reading are thinking about one, if not multiple people, and again, watching certain people, observing, keeping to oneself in that sense, but thinking why, even though you might be younger than me or just less experienced than me, why aren't you being more mature, right? Or can we just, they're saying cut out the BS. This may be more in the work environment. This could be at home. It could be out and about running errands or just migrating. It could be in more than one situation, but it feels like they're just levels of you just not wanting to associate oneself with certain people. And this is a day where you're reminded that's not a bad thing. This means you've progressed in that sense. And this being a level of strategy wrapped up in it all, right? And so allow for oneself to remember that you holding back from stepping into conversations, interactions with people of, they're saying less maturity or just immaturity, right? Or even gossip that you predict or witnessing, it's going to benefit you. And so this is a level of, needs to be viewed as protection for your energy when it comes to that, when it comes to just steering clear of the BS or just the labeling it as sticky behavior. And so I just feel like this day reminds you that you've come so far and you're more mature than you give yourself credit for at times. Beyond your years is what I'm getting. And so you could be reminded that you're a bit of an old soul or just fully. And so I do feel like you need to pat oneself on the back and just almost stay in your own lane at certain points, or just put your nose to the grind and just do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, and don't stress over the slip ups, the annoyances at hand, or just the frustrating behavior you're witnessing. It feels like, regardless of what I say, you're going to feel a bit judgmental once again or fully, but it just feels as if you got to get a job done or you have to accomplish what you need to. And somebody, I would just be strategic as to how much you say or how open you end up being throughout the day, right? Even when you do feel comfortable with one or multiple people, all right? Feels like there's more than one person or one person in particular that you really shouldn't be trusting at this time. Wow, I really went into that rant. Yeah, but I feel like as well, there's just a focus on who and what's been stressing you out. It could be as well a focus on your spirituality. This is a very interesting, they're saying again, judgmental day where you might even feel judged by other people. But I feel like all the meanwhile, whether it's through a new job, an investment you're looking into or experiencing, there's a lot of thoughts, lot of thought about your money, right? About your financial future, about your career. But I feel like all the meanwhile, there is abundance to be acquired. And Spirit saying you're doing well. It's a day where you need to, again, pat yourself on the back, commend oneself, and be strategic through it all. Embrace the abundance and keep manifesting, but don't allow for oneself to, again, stress. And remember, there's true financial freedom on the horizon for you. Take a deep breath. Don't stress it all the meanwhile, once again. Try not to judge oneself through it all and just do what you got to do, period. All right? So I hope this was truly helpful. Sending you so much love and light. Go enjoy your Friday, and I'll see you next time.